I remember the day I funded my first Forex live trading account. I wasn't just excited. I was convinced I'd found the path to financial freedom, believing that for the Forex trader, the right strategies would help me overcome failures I've had with crypto trading. After months of practice on a demo account, I thought I was ready. But reality hits hard. The first week, I made a cautious start and managed a small profit. It wasn't much, but it felt like proof I was on the right track. Then, like so many beginners, I started doubting myself. My trades felt tentative. My strategies didn't seem to work as flawlessly as they had on paper. I started losing funds. And that was when I made a choice I'd later regret. I sought out a signal provider. It was the perfect shortcut. Someone else would do the thinking. I just follow their trades. At first, like it always does in trading, it worked. The signals were eerily accurate, and I closed the week with a 25% return. My confidence soared. Why isn't everyone doing this? I thought. But as the second week began, cracks started to show. I watched a signal trade move into profit, and then stall. Greed whispered, "Wait, you can squeeze out more." I didn't close the trade when I should have. The market reversed, and just like that, the profit was gone. The next signal came, and instead of following the suggested trading plan, I improvised and doubled my lot size in an attempt to recover my losses, using the classic martingale strategy. By the end of the second week, I'd lost everything I'd gained and more. It wasn't just the signals that failed. It was me. Every trade became a battle, not with the market, but with my emotions. Fear, greed, and frustration danced on my shoulders, pushing me further from the plan. I messaged the signal provider, desperate for advice, but my question wasn't about risk management or discipline. All I wanted to know was, how do I get my money back? He gave me tips, but I ignored them. Chased trade after trade until my account was drained. It was months later, as I was nursing my wounds, when I stumbled upon a quote from Mark Douglas, the author of Trading in the Zone, that struck me deeply. There are easier, infinitely more satisfying ways of getting what you want from the market, but first you have to be willing to get your mind right. I started to see the truth. The problem wasn't the signals, or the market, or even my trades. The problem was me. I wasn't trading, I was reacting. My focus wasn't on learning or growing, but on winning fast and big. Trading isn't about chasing profits, it's about staying disciplined, calm, and focused, even when the market throws chaos your way. It's about creating a mindset that isn't swayed by emotions, because the moment your mind spirals, so does your account. On this channel, I often get the question, can a trader truly master his mind? And every time, my mind takes me to that quote. Here's the truth, I'm still on that journey myself. Every trade challenges me to stay in the zone, to remain composed in the face of uncertainty and pressure. If you've ever wondered, can I truly master the mental side of trading? Can I trade in the right zone, or is it something one will constantly chase as a trader? This video will help you answer these questions with actionable insights and strategies to maintain the right mindset as a trader, helping you not only improve your performance, but also discover more about yourself in the process. Let's dive in. 1. Trade only when market conditions align with your trading plan. One of the most critical rules in trading is to only trade when the market conditions align with your tested strategy. While this may sound simple, it requires discipline, patience, and a clear understanding of your trading system. Forcing trades during uncertain times or outside your plan can lead to unnecessary losses, emotional stress, and poor decision-making. It is also very important to wait for these conditions if you are to maintain the zone you want to be as a trader. Of course, you might wonder why you should wait for the right conditions. The answer is simple. The market is an unpredictable beast, but your trading plan is designed to give you an edge in specific conditions. When you stick to your plan, you're operating in a space where you've already accounted for risks and probabilities. Deviating from your trading plan introduces unnecessary variables, and erodes your confidence when things don't go as expected, thus making you drift outside your trading zone. Think of your trading plan as a filter that shows you when conditions are favorable and when to sit on the sidelines. Sitting out during unclear conditions isn't missed opportunity, it's preserving capital for better trades. So how do you ensure you stick to your strategy and trading plan? Here are ways to go about it. 1. Define your ideal market conditions. Be clear about the setups you want to trade. Are you focusing on trending markets, ranges, or breakouts? Define exactly what you're looking for, like specific price patterns, indicator signals, or key news events that align with your plan. Then, be patient and wait for those setups to appear. 2. Set rules for uncertain times. Figure out the situations where you won't trade, like during major news events or when the market is slow and lacks liquidity. Setting clear no-trade rules helps you avoid the emotional urge to chase trades. 3. Use alerts and automation. With websites like TradingView, you set alerts that let you know when your trade conditions are met. You can also automate parts of your strategy to help you avoid the urge to overtrade. 4. Adopt a risk-first mindset. Every trade comes with risk. Before you act, ask yourself, does this trade fit my plan, or am I doing it because of fear of missing out or frustration? If it doesn't align with your trading plan, it's not worth the risk. Trading only when the conditions align with your strategy isn't just about following rules. It's adopting a disciplined mindset. It's prioritizing patience over FOMO, quality over quantity, and discipline over impulsiveness. The market is full of opportunities, but not all are meant for you. And when you zero in on setups that fit your plan, you'll trade more confidently, avoid emotional pitfalls, and steadily work toward consistent success, all while staying and trading within the right trading zone. Number 2. Stick to a risk management plan. Risk management is the secret sauce to trading success and staying in the right mental zone. It's not just a strategy, it's your safety net. When you limit your risk on each trade, say 1 to 2% of your trading capital, you're protecting yourself from emotional meltdowns and financial setbacks when things don't go as planned, which will always happen in trading. Imagine meeting someone you really like and wanting to make a great impression. You're thinking of a fancy dinner, flowers, and maybe even tickets to a show. It sounds romantic, right? But let's be real, that kind of date could easily cost you $500. That's a big chunk of your monthly budget. You might end up stressing about rent or cutting back on groceries later, and there's no guarantee that she'll like you back. It's a risky gamble. Instead, why not plan a more affordable date? Maybe a picnic in the park, a walk through a beautiful neighborhood, or a home-cooked meal. These activities are often more meaningful and memorable than expensive outings. Plus, they'll help you avoid financial stress and focus on building a genuine connection. And if things don't work out, you're still in a good position financially. Trading works the same way. If you risk too much on a single trade, one bad outcome could derail your entire plan, leaving you scrambling to recover. On the flip side, sticking to a small, manageable risk percentage lets you bounce back easily and keep moving forward without all the unnecessary drama. It's not about being cheap, it's about being smart. Protect your capital, stay cool under pressure, and set yourself up for long-term wins. That's the true power of risk management and a surefire way to stay and trade right in the zone. Number 3. Adopt a win or learn mindset. In trading, it's easy to get caught up in the highs of wins or the sting of losses. But what if you looked at every outcome as an opportunity to grow? That's the essence of the win or learn mindset. Instead of labeling trades as purely successes or failures, see them as a chance to either celebrate your progress or uncover areas for improvement. Here's how it works. After each trading session, take a few minutes to reflect and write down 2 things. One thing you did well, your win, and one thing you learned from the session, your lesson. For example, maybe your win was sticking to your stop loss, even though it was tempting to hold on longer. Your lesson might be realizing you entered a trade too early because you were impatient. By consistently doing this, you shift your focus from obsessing over results to recognizing progress and refining your skills. Over time, this approach helps reduce the emotional weight of losses and reinforces the idea that every trade, win or lose, contributes to your growth as a trader. It's not about being perfect. It's about getting better, one session at a time. 4. Have a no-trade day every week. You're an athlete training for a marathon. Every single day, you wake up, lace up your running shoes, and hit the pavement. No breaks, no rest days, just miles upon miles of running. By the end of the week, you're not only physically drained but mentally fried. Your body feels like jelly, and your performance starts to dip. Sound familiar? Now replace the running shoes with your trading platform. Trading every day without pause can feel just as exhausting, mentally, emotionally, and even physically. That's why scheduling a no-trade day each week is very important. Think of it as your rest day, a chance to recharge and sharpen your edge. A no-trade day isn't about slacking off. It's about being strategic. On this day, you don't open any trades or stare at charts, tempting yourself to make impulsive moves. Instead, you use the time to review your previous trades and evaluate what worked and what didn't. It could also be a day to practice strategies to see if there's room for improvement. Let's take this out of the trading world for a second. Picture this. It's the weekend, and you've decided to binge watch your favorite TV series. At first, it's amazing. You're hooked, devouring episode after episode. But by the time you hit episode 8, your brain is mush. You're not even enjoying the plot twists anymore because you've overdone it. The same thing happens with trading. When you're constantly glued to the charts, your decision-making starts to suffer. You lose clarity in reading the market, and instead of making smart trades, you start trading out of exhaustion, a surefire way to fall out of the optimal trading zone. A no-trade day is like hitting the pause button on your binge. It gives you space to breathe, reflect, and come back stronger. So, which day should you choose to step away from the market? Based on my experience, Mondays and Fridays tend to have lower liquidity, thus making them ideal candidates for a no-trade day. Number 5. Picture the worst-case scenario, then take away its power. Trading can feel like standing at the edge of a high dive. The potential for a big reward is there, but so is the fear of belly flopping in front of a crowd. That fear, it comes from uncertainty, your mind racing with what-ifs. But what if you could take that uncertainty and strip it of its power? That's where visualizing the worst-case scenario comes in. It's not about being pessimistic. It's about being prepared. Let me break it down with a story. Remember the first time you got on a roller coaster? As you inched closer to the ride, your heart pounded and your brain ran wild. What if the seatbelt fails? What if I throw up? What if the entire thing just stops at the top? But then you got on, and before the ride even started, you checked the seatbelt. Solid. You reminded yourself that thousands of people had ridden this coaster without incident. You even braced for the loops and drops by gripping the bar like your life depended on it. The result? You were ready. And when the ride ended, you realized the fear was worse than the reality. Trading is a lot like that. The fear of the unknown, the fear of losing money, can paralyze you if you let it and take you out of the right trading zone. But by visualizing the worst-case scenario, you can neutralize that fear and focus on what you can control. Before you enter a trade, pause for a moment and ask yourself, what's the absolute worst that could happen? Maybe the trade doesn't go your way and you hit your stop loss. Maybe you lose 1 to 2% of your capital. Okay, now what? You've already planned for this with your risk management strategy. You know the exact amount you're risking, and you've decided ahead of time that it's an amount you're comfortable with. Once you've accepted the worst-case outcome, it's no longer a mystery. It's not some lurking monster in the dark. It's just a potential scenario you've already accounted for. Fear thrives in uncertainty, but preparation cuts it down to size. So next time you're about to dive into a trade, take a moment to imagine the worst, neutralize it with your risk management plan, and remind yourself, you're ready for this ride because you are trading right in the zone you need to be. Let's be real. Trading isn't just about making money. It's about growing as a person, understanding your emotions, and learning how to stay calm under pressure. The market will always be unpredictable, but you can be prepared. You're not just a trader. You're a strategist, a learner, and maybe even a little bit of a philosopher. You can always be trading in the zone if you choose to. Ever wondered why most traders lose money? It's not just bad luck. There's more to the story, and in this recommended video, we uncover why trading is so challenging and how you can turn the odds in your favor. If you found these video helpful, please like, share it with a fellow trader, and drop a comment below on what you do to trade in the zone. Thanks for watching.